If you're a PlayStation 5 owner looking for a monitor, you'll want a display that's not only compatible with the console, but one that can take advantage of all of the PS5's features. The PS5 supports 4K content up to 120 frames per second with an HDMI 2.1 input, and HDMI 2.1 monitors are starting to become more popular, but you can also find HDMI 2.0 monitors with a 4K resolution for cheaper. It's best to go for a 4K option with HDMI 2.1 bandwidth unless you want a 1080p resolution with a high refresh rate for cheaper. The PS5 supports variable refresh rate after a firmware update, so you'll want a monitor whose VRR support is compatible with the console. In this video we will look at the 5 best monitors for PS5 2022 available on the market today. We made this list based on our personal opinion, hours of research and customer reviews. We've considered their quality, durability, features, and more. If you want more information and updated pricing on the products mentioned, check the links in the description box below. So let's dive into the video. Number 5. Gigabyte M32U. Gigabyte M32U delivers an excellent gaming experience, with an excellent response time when gaming at 120 Hz, so your favorite games look crystal clear with very little ghosting or blur behind fast-moving objects. It also has low input lag, ensuring a responsive gaming experience overall. It's nearly fully compatible with everything the PS5 offers, supporting up to 4K at 120 Hz gaming and VRR. It has wide viewing angles, so you can easily share your screen with someone else. And the stand has a good range of ergonomic adjustments, so you can easily place it in an ideal viewing position. It looks good in bright rooms, with good peak brightness and decent reflection handling. Finally, it also supports HDR from the PS5, but although it can display a wide color gamut, it's not very bright in HDR, so bright highlights in some scenes aren't as impactful. Unfortunately, it doesn't support the full 48 gigabits per second bandwidth of HDMI 2.1 as it's limited to 24 gigabits per second. It doesn't affect gaming performance from the PS5. But it's limited to Chroma 4:2:0 with 4K at 120 Hz signals instead of Chroma 4:2:2, so text isn't as clear from the PS5. Besides that, it's a great overall monitor that delivers excellent gaming performance with the PS5. Number 4. LG 27GP950B. LG 27GP950B has the same 4K resolution as the Gigabyte M32U, but the main difference is that it has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth, so you can reach 4K signals up to 120 Hz with Chroma 4:2:2 instead of Chroma 4:2:0 that you get on M32U. So text in game menus looks clearer. It has all the gaming features you expect to find in a high-end gaming monitor. It has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth with a 160 Hz panel so you can reach high frame rates, and it has VRR support that works with the PS5. Motion is extremely smooth when gaming at 120 Hz and 60 Hz, and the input lag remains low no matter the resolution you're gaming at. It has wide viewing angles if you want to use it for co-op gaming so that the image remains accurate from the sides, but you can't swivel its stand. Sadly, the reflection handling is disappointing as reflections from even moderate light sources are distracting, but it still has great peak brightness if you want to use it in a room with a few lights around. If that isn't a problem for you, it's the best monitor for gaming on the PS5 that has full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. Number 3. LG OLED 48C1. If you want something to use for HDR gaming from the PS5, then the LG OLED 48C1 is the best monitor for your needs. It's actually a small TV that we tested as a monitor because it's popular as such, and it delivers better picture quality than most monitors. It's remarkable for HDR because it has an OLED panel with a near-infinite contrast ratio, meaning it delivers perfect black levels with no blooming around bright objects. Like the LG 27GP950B, it has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. And even if it has a lower 40 gigabits per second bandwidth, you won't have any issues playing 4K games up to 120 frames per second on the PS5. It also has VRR support compatible with the PS5 to reduce screen tearing. Another advantage of an OLED TV is the near-instantaneous response time, so motion looks extremely smooth, and gaming feels responsive thanks to the low input lag. It even has a black frame insertion feature that improves the appearance of motion if you get bothered by persistence blur. Sadly, the main downside to getting an OLED display is that it risks permanent burn-in. It can be problematic if you constantly play the same games with the same static elements, but if you play varied games it won't be a problem. Besides that, it's the best HDR monitor for the PS5. Number 2. Acer Nitro XF243 Wipe MyPerx. The Acer Nitro XF243 Wipe MyPerx is the best monitor for PS5 that you can get on a budget. It's a simple entry-level monitor that offers excellent ergonomics as you can swivel the screen a full 360 degrees thanks to its round base stand. Although it doesn't have the biggest screen at 24 inches, it's still good enough for playing games on your own. While the 1080p resolution may seem low, it lets you achieve a higher frame rate over HDMI connections. It accepts 1080p at 120Hz signals from the PS5, meaning you can play games at a higher refresh rate than 4K displays with HDMI 2.0 bandwidth. It also downscales 4K at 60Hz signals, but it doesn't support VRR from the PS5. Luckily, you won't notice any delay in your actions while gaming as it has very low input lag. It displays a wide range of colors in SDR and has great out-of-the-box accuracy, so you likely won't need to get it calibrated. Unfortunately, even though it supports HDR, it doesn't add much. It can't display a wide color gamut, it doesn't get bright enough to make highlights pop, and blacks also look gray in the dark due to the low contrast ratio. In bright rooms, it fights glare without issue and has good reflection handling. If you don't mind compromising on the resolution, it's the best gaming monitor for PS5 you can get for a low cost. Number 1. Dell S2722QC. The Dell S2722QC is the best budget monitor for the PS5 if you want something with a 4K resolution. It's a decent gaming monitor that's fine for casual gamers on the PS5, but you won't get the same features as higher-end 4K monitors like the Gigabyte M32U. It's well built and has an ergonomic stand, meaning you can place it in an ideal viewing position without issues. The 4K resolution helps deliver crisp images and sharp text. You can play 4K games up to 60 frames per second. But because it's limited to a 60 Hz refresh rate and HDMI 2.0 bandwidth, you can't play high frame rate games. It has VRR support, but it doesn't work with the PS5, so there's a chance you'll see screen tearing in games. Its overall response time is okay, but motion still looks good for the most part as there's minimal blur trail behind fast-moving objects. Sadly, it's not a good choice for HDR gaming because it doesn't get bright enough to make highlights pop, it has a low contrast that makes blacks look gray. And it lacks a local dimming feature. Also, it doesn't display a wide range of colors in HDR, so it's best to use it for SDR gaming. Regardless, it's still a decent overall budget 4K monitor that you can use with the PS5. Our recommendations are based on what we think is the best PS5 gaming monitor currently available. They're adapted to be valid for most people in each price range. Rating is based on our review, factoring in price and feedback from our visitors. If you prefer the make your own decision, here's the list of all of our 4K monitor reviews. Be careful not to get too caught up in the details. Most monitors are good enough to please most people, and the things we fault monitors on are often not noticeable unless you really look for them.